The dog Broomer, as a character, is a pretty great character. She's called Ilsa Umlaut, and I have to say she was pretty fabulous. As an episode, it is so sweet. The dog Broomer is the second segment of the 11th episode of the second season of Rugrats, and in this one, Spike smells a bit. And there's this beautiful bit of animation where we're looking up to the ceiling, as if we're looking at Spike's from Spike's perspective, and we have Grandpa, Stu, and Didi looking down. And I just love how it was framed and everything was positioned just perfectly. And there were a few other bits of animation that I really enjoyed as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. But this episode focuses on Spike needing to be groomed. I have to say the names of the various dog groomers in the book were brilliant, particularly Von Helsing. And the dog groomer comes along, and because the babies don't really know what a dog groomer is, and they hear it as dog broomer, they come to their own conclusion that it's somebody who's come along to broom Spike, and they take it upon themselves to try and prevent this from happening. And I will say it's very atmospheric, it's quite intense, it's very eerie when different people start arriving at the door in a really great way. What I will say is that I really struggled to place what time of day this was, because they said the dog groomer arrived at 10 on the dot. And I thought, okay, that can't be 10 at night, because a dog groomer wouldn't be working at 10 at night. But it can't be 10 in the morning, because A, it was really quite dark, and B, Stu and Didi and Grandpa were watching a film with popcorn at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, earlier than that. So the exact time of day I'm a little bit confused by. But that aside, it was a really good episode. Two bits I loved involved Phil and Lil, and one involved Lil screaming, and then Phil dragged her into a cupboard and her shoe fell off, and just the way the screaming stopped as soon as the cupboard door shut, everything was timed so perfectly. And there's also a bit soon after that where they grab a blanket and they both huddle under this blanket, and it's just the cutest thing ever. It's so adorable. And then once the dog groomer actually arrives, I thought she was a really fascinating character. I liked the design of her. I thought she was pretty great. Also, the puppy steamer, I think that's what it was called, the contraption that she had, it looked wonderful. So visually, it was a really entertaining episode. Definitely quite an intense episode, very atmospheric. Definitely one that I think would scare young children in a way that's fun, of course. And it's lovely to see Tommy and Spike being close and interacting with each other, and Tommy being brave to save Spike. It's just so cute. If you're an animal lover, I think you'll really appreciate that. But it's very well animated, really fun story. A couple of things, as I said, that didn't necessarily make that much sense, such as the time of day. But generally, it was a really decent episode with a lot of really positive things going for it. Again, one I don't remember from my childhood, and I feel like I would have remembered Ilsa Umlaut as a character. What ultimately happened with her character I hadn't expected, and it did kind of make me smile a little bit. I thought it was a nice bit of interesting character development. The Dog Broomer is definitely not a bad episode at all.